after a pretty tough 2 years of this pandemic, when decisions have been, duck shoved amongst people around a national cabinet table that can't hold the moment they walk out the door, and the Prime Minister has been de-elevated down to the level of a premier. This gives me confidence that as a country we can make some big decisions here. We're still willing to make these sort of big decisions. I think that, to me, is a real shot in the arm about today's move.
And you're absolutely right, Peter. This was a decision that the Prime Minister didn't need, at least at this stage, parliamentary approval for. He didn't need to get the states on board. He made this decision. There is a sense in which he has cut through 40 years of obfuscation and delay. This is leadership of a high order from Scott Morrison, and thank God we've had it.
When you were in government, you made a commitment going into winning the election in 2013 that you would lift the spend, the GDP spend on defence. It's at 2%. Mm-hmm. It seems prescient now that you even got to 2%. It was a bit of a fight to get there, but of course 2% is a lot less than we need now. We need to obviously increase that with the risk that China is there. We're entering a very new and challenging strategic era, aren't we?
I don't think people have quite worked out yet just how massive the Chinese military machine has become. In sheer numbers, the Chinese fleet is now much larger than the US fleet. In terms of missiles, China has an extraordinary capability to strike targets in the Western Pacific. We know that China is itching to take back Taiwan by force if necessary, and the best way to ensure that the unthinkable remains the unlikely is to be prepared for the worst. And what Australia indicated today, along with our great partners, the United States and Britain, we are prepared to act to meet the common danger. The danger is real. We have to meet it. You put it very well at the end of your editorial tonight, Peter. While the world might be changing for the worse, today Australia changed for the better, and we will be a much safer and stronger country as a result of this historic decision.
I'm flattered you were paying attention, boss. I've got to ask you, nuclear power, the Prime Minister pushed that to one side today. It was the condition that if nuclear power is in the mix at all, that Labor won't support it. I, though, am hopeful once we get a developed nuclear industry here in terms of sustainment of these submarines, once people can see that the concerns they have of nuclear are unfounded, they can see how important it is to our military future, they might see how important it is to our manufacturing and energy future. What do you think?
Look, I was very encouraged by the Labor Party's initial reaction today. I think it was very much in the tradition of Bob Hawke, who is undoubtedly Labor's best post-war leader. Bob Hawke was a great friend of the US alliance. Bob Hawke was always pro-nuclear, and I think that if nuclear power is okay at sea, sooner or later it's going to be okay at land, on land too. And frankly, if we are serious about cutting our emissions as quickly as possible, why wouldn't you look to the only form of emissions-free baseload power which is currently absolutely proven?
Well, thank you for joining us on this historic day, Mr. Abbott. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Peta.